All right. And guys, in order for you to understand the timing of what is about to take place, you need to understand something, a simple concept here. I'm going to call it the 5-2 principle. Okay? 5-2 principle. Now, in order for me to do that, to explain that to you, and this is going to reveal the timing of what is about to happen. This will confirm to you what is about to happen in 2 weeks. In order for you to understand that, I got to take you back to October 29th, 2008. Now, credit goes to a watchman named Ron Reese. He and another watchman that called himself Math Man at the time, they were shown by the Lord. Now, they thought it was the fulfillment of Daniel's 70th week beginning. What we now know is that it was a foreshadow, a 1 year ahead of time, a 1 year foreshadow of Daniel's 70th week. So, again, October 29th, 2008, two major events took place. Okay? And one was delayed so it would coincide with the other on that date. So, on October 29th, 2008, this was 1 week before Obama's first election, when he first would be elected president. Now, he made a covenant that most people did not realize was a covenant at that time, on that date. That was when he did the 30-minute speech, which aired on like all the networks and everything, the 30-minute speech telling America why they should go out and vote for him. You know what I mean? They called it like the speech to the everyman or something like that, whatever it was. But anyway, it was he basically hijacked television for 30 minutes as part of his campaign to get for you to go and elect him. Well, what happened was the Philadelphia Phillies were playing in the 104th World Series. Okay? It was World Series number 104. They were playing the Tampa Bay Rays. Now, what was significant about the Tampa Bay Rays also is that franchise, which was a relatively newer franchise, baseball franchise, they were losing. They were losers until they used to be called the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. They didn't even start to win and become a winning franchise until they took the word devil out of their name. So obviously you see what the Lord was saying right there. But anyway, so the Phillies and the Rays are playing in this series, in the 104th World Series. Now, even the number 104 is significant. That connects back to past videos I made, and I'll get back to that again. But what happened was the Phillies were about to win the series 4-1, and it was game 5 on October 27th. So 2 days before this date, October 27th, was game 5 of the World Series. The Phillies were going to win and end that series 4-1, and they would be World Series champions. All right. For the first time in like 28 years or whatever. So anyway, but the game was delayed in, I'm not sure what inning it was or whatever, but the game was delayed because of rain and could not be played. It had to be delayed until 2 days later on October 29th, 2008. And it actually ended up wrapping up and finishing the series, that game, right after Obama was making his speech or finishing his speech, his covenant with many that he made at that time. So the Lord caused it to rain, a rain delay, and we know what rain symbolizes in the Bible and everything. It symbolizes God's blessings, but it also can symbolize judgment, like the judgment of the flood. So a rain delay postponed the rest of the game till 2 days later on October 29th. Now, where my confusion came in was that I knew the Lord was showing me the connection between the Church of Philadelphia, that was the Phillies, the Church of Philadelphia, and Barack Obama. I knew the whole connection between twins, that the twin birthing would happen at the same time. Obama representing the evil seed that will be born, and then at the same time, the body of Christ, the Church of Philadelphia, would be caught up in the air, okay? The faithful church, the wise virgins. I knew the connection God was making, that it would be twins. It would happen at the same time, okay? Even like the same day. But what I didn't understand was the purpose of the delay in the series. The delay happened in game 5. So I immediately knew God was referencing the 5th year. But I didn't understand. What I thought was that the 5th year was just delayed for for 2 years or whatever the case may be. I didn't understand it. Even when I made my videos in October pointing towards Halloween, this past October, because Halloween, October 31st, 2018, was the 7th day of Tabernacles, the true 7th day of Tabernacles. So I thought at that time that the delay would take us until then, and that is when the judgments would begin to pour out at that time. And I was pointing to, if you remember, I was pointing to Halloween, the time between Halloween and November 3rd, that period of time in there. What I didn't understand, and the Lord had me to understand, was to, again, think about what happened in that World Series. Game 5 was played, but it did not end until 2 days later. That was my mistake I made in my understanding, and what I'm correcting right now to get you to understand and show you right now what God was trying to show all of us. The game was played, but it could not finish. It could not end. It had to be postponed until 2 days later. What the Lord was trying to say was that the end of the 5th year, see, the 7-game series, it's a 7-game series in baseball, that represented Daniel's 70th week. God was trying to say that the 5th year, the end of the 5th year, is when you would have the birth of the twins, when Obama would rise again in his rebirth, being fully incarnated by his father Satan and taking over the world scene in his evil second coming. That would happen at the same time as the other birth, which is Philadelphia being crowned, Philadelphia being taken to be with her bride, Philadelphia becoming champions. It would happen at the same time. And like I said, I knew it was a reference to the 5th year because it was game 5 of a 7-game series. So I knew God was referring to the 5th year of the 7 years in Daniel's 70th week. But what I didn't realize is he was showing that the 5th year would not end on time. Just as the 5th game didn't end on time, the 5th year would be delayed 2 more months. That was the purpose of the delay, the rain delay that caused the game 5, to end 2 days later. God was going to delay the 5th year, the ending of the 5th year, 2 more months to the time when Obama makes his covenant and is crowned. That is when it's a twin birthing. So instead of the birthing, the child being born and caught up so the dragon is not able to devour it, instead of that happening on the 7th day of Tabernacles, during Tabernacles, it would be delayed for 2 more months to happen during Hanukkah. Tabernacles is in Tishri, the 7th month. Hanukkah is 2 months later in the 9th month. God was showing a 2-month delay so that they would be born at the same time. One evil seed being born into the earth, which is Satan being cast down to incarnate his son, Barack Obama. The other righteous seed being caught up out of the earth, being born out of the earth. You see, you have an exchange in heaven. Satan being finally cast down to possess the body of his son, Barack Obama. Jesus finally receiving his body as his bride at the same time. A twin birthing would happen at the time of Hanukkah, not during Tabernacles, because it's the end of the 5th year, just like game 5, being delayed 2 more months so that it ends at Hanukkah, not on Tabernacles. Why? Because the bride was not ready during Tabernacles. Just as it says in Haggai chapter 2, the bride is defiled and is not ready at that time. The time was the 21st day of the 7th month that God would shake the heavens and the earth, but the bride was not ready at that time. So out of God's blessing, a rain delay, you see, God's blessing of rain, in order for her to be ready and bring forth fruit and be born at the time of Hanukkah. Just like it says in Haggai chapter 2, which is the 911th chapter of the Bible, 911 representing birth. God was showing how his bride would not be ready. She is a temple that's defiled, that needs to be rededicated. The time of the dedication of the temple, the rededication, is Hanukkah. But as I said to you, there's still the 21-day delay of Daniel chapter 10, which is what we're in now. That's why the rapture did not happen in these last few days. Hanukkah has just ended, and the rapture didn't happen because we're in the final delay, a 21-day delay, as it says in Daniel chapter 10. Now, so back to this. So what happened was, again, the Phillies ended up winning 4-1. Game 5 did not end on time. It had to be delayed 2 more days to where it coincided with Obama making a covenant with many. And I'm going to get to this in a minute to more detail about the covenant. And you see the pattern here. Again, this is the 5-2 principle. Watch this. Okay, ready? Watch this. So what happened was the Phillies won 4-1. Then you come to 2018, last year, the Philadelphia Eagles win their first Super Bowl in over 50 years, 58 years to be exact. 58 is a connection to Donald Trump, because Donald Trump's his inauguration was the 58th inauguration of a president. So you see the connection there. And the Eagles win that Super Bowl over the New England Patriots 41-33. You know, 33 is a reference to Jesus being 33 at the time of his death. Also 33rd degree masonry as well, also. See, the Eagles won with 41 points, just like the other team in Philadelphia won 4-1. You might say, okay, coincidence there. That's no big deal. But guess what? The Super Bowl the Eagles won was Super Bowl 52. Okay? So now, what is this 5-2 principle I'm talking about? What do I mean? Again, it's the 5th year being delayed by 2 more months until it will come to an end. But it is also 5th month, 2nd day, on our calendar, May 2nd. What do I mean by that? Okay. As I said, this day, the covenant, Obama made this covenant, that was a foreshadow. If you know by now from my work, and if you're trying to disagree with me, I'm not going to get into long, drawn-out debates. The true start of Daniel's 70th week was October 9th, 2009, 1 year after this. October 9th, 2009, as I said, was Obama, the Nobel Peace Prize was him confirming the covenant with many for 1 week, a period of 7 years. The middle point of that, the midst of the week, was March 22nd, 2013, when he went into the Church of the Nativity in Israel and stood in the holy place where he should not be, the place where the head of the temple, the head of the body was born, where Jesus was born, proclaiming to God that the world no longer needs him because Obama is usurping the throne. He proclaimed that I am their new God. I'm taking the place of your son. My father and I, Satan, are taking the place of you and your father. Okay. Anyway. So that was the true covenant with many, October 9th, 2009. But what happened 1 year before was God was showing a foreshadow. What do I mean by that? Because Obama confirmed his covenant with the 30-minute speech on television with the many people of America on October 29th, 2008. 7 years from that, 7 prophetic years, 360 days, that's how prophecy is counting. 7 years of 360-day years is 2,520 days. When you count that out, it comes to September 23rd, 2015. And even there, we see the significant date of September 23rd having to do with the woman, Revelation 12, 2 years later in 2017. Anyway, let's stay on this. So that was a 7-year covenant that was confirmed. The middle day of that would have been April 11th, 4/11/2012. What happened on April 11th, 2012? That was the day of the 2 earthquakes. There was no other day in recorded history where there were 2 8+ magnitude earthquakes happening on the same day. But that's exactly what happened on April 11th, 2012. So God was showing the significance of a 7-year covenant made by Obama, and something significant would happen on the middle date. But he was saying that it would be 2 events that would happen. That's why he caused 2 8+ earthquakes to happen on that day, letting us know that on the middle date of the covenant of the Daniel 70th week, there would be 2 significant dates, two significant events that would happen on the middle, in the midst of the week. That's what he was showing. So now, again, 1 year later, we start the actual covenant with many, the actual Daniel 9/27, the 70th week, October 9th, 2009. The middle date is March 22nd, 2013, and 2 significant events happened 1 day apart from each other. On March 22nd, as I said, was the abomination of desolation, where Obama went into the Church of the Nativity. But on March 23rd, this is one no one talks about, March 23rd, 2013, is when Obamacare was signed into law, which had the provision for the RFID chip, the mark of the beast, was signed into law the very next day after he went into the Church of the Nativity on March 23rd, 2013. So 2 significant events that happened back to back, just like the 2 earthquakes on April 11th, 2012. and this continues, I'm going to keep going.